Webinar on fleet electrification. It's jointly hosted by the Expo and EDTA, the Electric Drive Transportation Association. I'm going to kick things off here. My name is Michael Wilbur, and I manage all the membership activities for EDTA, including our events and conferences. I'm excited to be leading today's conversation on the major advances that we're seeing in the electric drive market across the nation. So as a brief intro to EDTA, it's a bit of a mouthful. The Electric Drive Transportation Association is the trade association promoting battery, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and fuel cell electric drive technologies and infrastructure. Our membership includes the entire value chain of electric drive, including vehicle and equipment manufacturers, energy companies, technology developers, component suppliers, government agencies, the list goes on. And we proudly count Odyne and PG&E as part of our roster. To achieve our mission of creating a robust electric drive market, EDTA conducts public policy advocacy and provides education and awareness via industry networking and conferences. So to bring further awareness of the benefits of electrified transportation to fleet operators, specifically across North America, we've expanded our partnership with the Alternative Clean Transportation Expo, which, as I'm sure you know, is the largest clean fleet conference and expo in the world, representing all alternative fuels and efficiency improvement technologies across all vehicle weight classes. So this year at the Expo, EDTA will host 3 days of electric drive programming, including breakout sessions, a multi-part workshop on accelerating electric drive, and a hands-on component with the electric drive zone in the expo hall. So we hope you're making plans to attend. Today's webinar is part of an ongoing series that Expo organizes as a preview of the educational programming you can expect at the 4-day event taking place May 4th through the 7th in Dallas, Texas. This is truly an exciting time for electric drive. In addition to announcements of new innovations, advancements, and market entrants on nearly a daily basis, we're seeing record sales of EVs with the number of plug-in electric vehicles on American roads growing exponentially over the past 5 years. Moreover, fleets are embracing electric drive because of fuel savings, operational and environmental benefits. This trend is being reinforced by state and local incentives, as well as expanding options for plug-in vehicles and infrastructure. Because these markets have grown out of infancy and are quickly maturing, we'll soon hear from our 2 guest speakers today who will discuss their real-life experiences of offering and operating EVs. The progress we've seen is really a direct result of pioneering fleet operators and technology providers who continue to make aggressive investments in zero-emission technologies. These systems have proven successful in not only reducing fuel costs, but also carbon emissions, and all while meeting the top operational demands of today's most demanding fleets. So I'm excited to get today's conversation started on why there's never been a better time to electrify your fleet. It's an honor to be joined here by Matt Jarvis, who is Odyne's Director of Sales. Matt has over a decade of experience in the transportation industry and has really pushed the envelope to develop the utility plug-in hybrid system that's currently being deployed throughout North America. Odyne's innovative system truly advances the plug-in hybrid market as their technology enables trucks over 14,000 pounds to have a substantially lower emissions, improved performance, and quieter job site operation, which is really a great side benefit. And because heavier vehicles consume more energy, the Odyne technology offers the greatest opportunity for reduced operating costs, maintenance costs, and of course, reduced fuel costs. So I'm thrilled to also have with us Ned Beal, who's the fleet manager at Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E. Ned's responsible for the deployment of one of the largest commercial electric fleets in North America, with over 15,000 vehicles in their fleet. His experience is deep, and his understanding of this market is extremely unique as he sees through the lenses of both a fleet operator and a major utility service provider. PG&E operates in some of the most geographically and climatically diverse states in the nation, and I, for one, am eager to hear some of his strategies and plans for the future of fleet electrification. Before we get started, there's a few things to keep in mind as we go through each presentation. I encourage you to submit any questions you have for our speakers by using the Q&A box located in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. We'll be answering as many questions as we can following the presentation. So feel free to submit them at any time, and we'll add them to the queue as they come in. A full recording of today's webinar will be available for download on the Expo website. You'll receive an email with a link to this recording as a follow-up to today's webinar. We kindly ask that you complete our very quick 30-second survey, which will pop up at the end of the webinar. We really want your feedback so that we can continue to improve these webinars going forward. And lastly, for any technical issues and assistance during the webinar, please feel free to contact Grace Jameson in our office at 310-570-3463. That number again, 310-570-3463. Or you can see her email on the screen, grace.jameson@gladstein.org. So without further ado, let's get things rolling, and I'm going to hand it over to Matt to start things off.
Thank you, Michael. Again, like Michael said, my name is Matt Jarvis with Odyne. Today, I'd like to go over a quick background on who Odyne is, for those who aren't familiar, kind of talk about the plug-in hybrid technology we offer, and also show you some real-world examples and data that we have from the field. So starting off about Odyne, Odyne is a plug-in hybrid manufacturer and developer of systems for vehicles over 14,000 pounds. So when that class, we're talking a class 5, 6, 7, 8, we focus on large vehicles really in the commercial truck market. So the segment that we target are work trucks. So the applications that we deal with are vehicles that will drive 10, 20, 30 miles per day, but then spend 2, 3, 4 hours per day at a work site. That application provides the largest benefit and has been a success for us throughout North America. Our systems are integrated on a wide variety of equipment and different chassis makes. As you can see there from that first slide of the example, many different applications have that type of duty cycle and have provided a solid return on their investment over the initial data that we've been collecting on these vehicles. But a couple examples here are bucket trucks, kind of on the top there, just different manufacturers, as well as some underground work vehicles that work in downtown cities, and also a new tank truck application that we've developed. So our goal here is to work with the fleets around the country to improve the productivity, performance, and sustainability of the commercial trucks and their vehicles. Odyne Systems has a partnership with Allison Transmission. Allison Transmission is the world's largest manufacturer of fully automatic transmissions for medium and heavy-duty commercial vehicles. So those who are familiar with them, all the fully automatic transmissions in the commercial workspace or commercial work vehicles are very familiar with Allison. They partially own Odyne through a non-controlling equity investment, and we integrate our plug-in hybrid solution at Odyne with the existing powertrains through a very minimally intrusive design that I'll go over with you today. With Allison, we do have a collaboration with them with engineering and marketing to work together to develop these products, and we are exclusively approved by Allison Transmission to globally provide the plug-in hybrid solution on their 1000, 2000, 3000, and 4000 series transmissions. This slide here just shows the Odyne design with our minimally intrusive setup. So what you're looking at is a Allison transmission towards the left of the slide with our plug-in hybrid solution mounted from the power takeoff. So that Allison transmission we take from a commercial vehicle and integrate into the existing platform. So from the power takeoff, we provide an electric motor, which is a traction motor, the MEHVH 250, which provides launch assist and regenerative braking while driving to improve the fuel economy of that vehicle. So when the vehicle is driven, our electric motor works in parallel with the diesel engine to improve fuel economy and reduce emissions. Once the vehicle is at the work site, our unique design allows for multiple hydraulic pumps or compressors or applications to be installed on the backside of the motor, and it allows us to work fully electric at the work site, powering the equipment of fleets around the country. So whether it's a bucket truck, a digger derrick, or a crane, that hydraulic pump would be able to be powered from the electric motor and our large battery packs instead of using the diesel engine. Also at the work site, we do have an optional air conditioner and heater that will cool or warm the cab depending on the outside temperature to remain those creature comforts in the cab without disruption from their non-hybrid vehicles or their diesel-powered vehicles in the fleet. We also provide standard telematics and remote diagnostics from our vehicles, and extended warranties are also available. This is just showing the Odyne manufacturing process. So we are a intermediate stage manufacturer, and a couple of pictures there of our assembly facility. So we will take a OEM chassis, whether it's a Ford, Freightliner, Freightliner custom chassis, Kenworth International platform, and we'll integrate our plug-in hybrid solution to that vehicle. So with our platform, we'll take that existing chassis, integrate the components that you see on the slide there, and we'll add either a single battery pack option or a dual battery pack. So on the single battery pack option, it's a 14.4 kilowatt-hour solution that adds an additional 1,200 pounds to the vehicle. But we also have a larger two battery pack solution that provides 28.8 kilowatt-hours and adds additional 1,800 pounds to that existing vehicle. So this vehicle at our manufacturing facility is upgraded and integrated. You can see the picture there. At this one facility, we installed over 120 systems in 2014, and it's very scalable where we can do this around the country. We have facilities in Wisconsin and California currently that do the system upgrades for us, and we're looking to expand it as the volume dictates. Again, you can manufacture or add these to a wide choice of chassis and engines. We review the different chassis OEMs that we work with that interface with that Allison transmission, and also multiple engine platforms from Cummins, Navistar, MaxForce, and Detroit Diesel. The vehicles then, when we're complete, are shipped to the final stage manufacturer. So depending on what type of application, whether it's a bucket truck or crane, will go to the appropriate manufacturer, the customer's choice, to be completed and then delivered on to the end user. Odyne is one of the leaders in the plug-in hybrid systems for the commercial truck market around North America. We've been fortunate to receive multiple awards and projects over the last couple of years. Our largest one being a DOE and EPRI program that we deployed approximately 120 vehicles around the country and into Canada as well with our plug-in hybrid solution. We also received programs in California from the California Energy Commission, two different programs, and one of the program partners is actually Pacific Gas and Electric. They are just receiving their first two Odyne plug-in hybrid systems on digger derrick applications, and those will be deployed here hopefully this month into their fleet and integrated into their fleet to see those fuel savings firsthand. We've also worked with the South Coast Air Quality Management District in the Los Angeles area for two projects, and with the DOD for deployment of a plug-in hybrid vehicle at Pearl Harbor. So you can see we've been able to deploy our technology throughout North America. The map just shows kind of where we have vehicles currently, expanding all the way up into Canada, down into Arizona, across to the East Coast in Florida and in Carolina. We worked with some of the largest fleets, including Pacific Gas and Electric, but also Duke Energy, Florida Power Light, and Exelon Corporation, which includes ComEd and PECO. So the benefits we're seeing from a Odyne plug-in hybrid solution, this chart just shows the total fuel consumed of a vehicle that we took on a dyno and had third-party testing completed. So the plug-in hybrid system provides benefits both while driving and also at the work site while the vehicle is stationary. So what this graph shows is a conventional vehicle we tested to the left, and then we have two different calibrations that we offer with our solution. One focuses more on worksite applications that spend more time at the worksite, and the aggressive hybrid calibration is more for a driving calibration, vehicles that drive more. So two different solutions. You can see the amount of fuel saved just on that dyno test, anywhere from 33 to 28% fuel economy saved, but really depending on the duty cycle, those savings can be much higher. With extended worksite hours, more time at the job site, we've seen up to 50% and greater fuel savings versus a diesel-powered vehicle. With our solution that provides both benefits while driving and stationary, it also allows fleets to take advantage of EPAC credits, and be happy to talk through with you if there's a opportunity for your company to benefit from those credits as well to meet the requirements. This next slide shows, in addition to fuel savings, we see significantly lower emissions compared to a diesel-powered vehicle when you add the Odyne plug-in hybrid solution. This breaks down the CO2, the THC, and the NOx. Different slides showing those benefits. You can see the CO2 just by consuming less diesel fuel. There's a significant reduction in CO2. But the biggest benefit comes from the NOx and the THC. As you can see, majority of that emissions from our dyno testing was produced at the work site while the vehicle was stationary. And you can see there's significant reductions in both the NOx and the THC when you integrate an Odyne plug-in hybrid solution. So additional features and benefits of the Odyne system, we provide one of the largest battery systems with our application. So we have over 25 kilowatt hours available of usable energy, which provides a nice quiet work site, all electric work site operation to keep that engine off longer than a smaller battery pack option. This all electric work site also reduces engine maintenance due to lower idle time, so less wear and tear on that engine, less frequent oil changes, all those different benefits of not having to idle the truck for that extended period of time at the work site. Our battery packs are built for extreme conditions. As you saw from that map, we have vehicles into Canada, down into Arizona in the real warm climates, and they are built for those extreme conditions. They are thermally managed, liquid cooled and heated, and they're IP67 rated, so they are submersible and built for an automotive, real truck environment. Those battery packs have a 4-year warranty, right from Johnson Controls, over 4 years, and are designed to last 10 years. We also provide one of the largest electric motors with 42 kilowatt hours of continuous power, 70 kW peak, and that provides much better acceleration and can power those much larger loads like digger derricks that we were doing for Pacific Gas and Electric to be able to power and dig those holes fully electric. We also offer one of the largest exportable power solutions available, varying from anywhere from 6 to 18 kilowatt hours, or kilowatts, I should say. And that would replace a separate diesel generator that you'd have on your vehicle. So that provides a nice solution, not having to bring along a diesel generator, and provides additional fuel savings without having that generator on board. So the work trucks here, I just want to go through a couple examples with you of what we provide and kind of the solutions that we're seeing in the field. So you can see there's a wide variety of applications that we've deployed, from bucket trucks working with Altec, Terex, Versalift, and these vehicles are really used to maintain construction overhead lines. We also provide cranes and digger derrick applications, and really to install those poles and transformers and do a lot of heavy lifting, and also the underground utility vehicle applications. So that's that hybrid walk-in van down below and that compressor truck. And those applications provide underground infrastructure maintenance for electrical and natural gas lines. And our newest application is that fuel tank truck, which is for Duke Energy, that will actually deliver diesel and gasoline fuel to the vehicles and do that fully electric at the work site instead of being powered by the diesel engine. So here's one example of a case study we've done with a fleet in Chicago here who is ComEd. So here is an example of it's an international chassis with an Altec 50-foot bucket truck. And what you're looking at here, just a quick overview, the left-hand side is the state of charge, or the SOC of the battery. So you can see it goes from 0 all the way up to 100, and then the bottom graph is just the time. And really what I'm trying to show you here is just the SOC as a vehicle is used throughout the course of the day, and how that SOC is depleted and reducing fuel consumption. So you can see the battery starts at 100%. The vehicle is then driven as it goes down that line pretty hard, saving fuel while it's driven to the work site, using some energy. And then once at the work site, you can see how that the battery state of charge is depleted, So we have a charge deplete strategy, and they're using the battery energy instead of the diesel fuel to power the equipment. They'll work all day at the work site, fully electric, and then at the end of the day there, you see the vehicle started up, driven home, again saving fuel while the vehicle is driven back to the work site, and then when they return back to the garage, they plug it in and recharge those batteries all the way back up to 100%. So that's just one day, one example of a bucket truck application. And what you can see, what that correlates to is this chart here that shows kind of a conventional vehicle, a diesel-powered vehicle equivalent versus an Odyne plug-in hybrid vehicle, and the amount of fuel that is consumed with our plug-in hybrid system versus a diesel-powered vehicle. So you can see there's almost 10 gallons of savings and 8 hours of avoided idle time just for that one day of operation. So I have one more example I want to show it to you here quickly. This is that walk-in van application. So this is a vehicle for Duke Energy in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they use this vehicle to maintain the underground electrical infrastructure in downtown Charlotte. So the vehicle works over manholes for extended periods of time, and the vehicle, you can see, this one day drove for almost an hour, so a very short drive cycle, but spent 5 hours at the work site. So you can see that battery state of charge starting at 100%. It is reduced down throughout the course of the day, and then at the end of the day, the vehicle is driven back to the garage, plugged in, and then recharged to almost back up to 100%. So this application also, in addition to the diesel engine, it has a generator on board that would have consumed been running for about 5 hours at the work site. So the total combined fuel savings between the underhood engine and the generator is almost 9 gallons for that one day. So there's definitely a nice added benefit and ability to reduce a large amount of fuel in this application as well. So just in summary, the Odyne solution reduces fuel consumption, lowers emissions, improves the vehicle performance, provides a nice quiet work site for the crews, and lower operating and engine maintenance cost. The plug-in Odyne solution is defined as a true plug-in hybrid solution for by the U.S. government and is eligible for EPAC credits. It uses all the current safety criteria from the SAE standard plug-in charging and high voltage interlock loop. So it uses the same charge station that a Chevy Volt or Nissan Leaf uses, and has a nice warranty that is acknowledged by Allison Transmission, and a nice battery warranty of over 4 years. So there's my contact information. I look forward to the questions here at the end. And if we don't connect here today, please stop by our booth as well at the ACT Expo. We'll be in 1245 in May in Dallas. So after that, I'll pass it back to Michael.
Great, thanks, Matt. Now, I'm always fascinated in hearing these things about the diversity of configurations and applications for electric drive, and specifically how that flexibility allows you to optimize for the duty cycle of each vehicle. And I think you showed that in a very tangible way with those two real-life examples of, kind of a day in the life of the vehicles. So great presentation. Thanks, Matt. Before our next presenter, I want to quickly remind you to continue submitting your questions for the Q&A session using the box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So next, we'll keep things rolling, and we'll hear from PG&E's Fleet Manager, Ned Beal. Ned?
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you may be within the country. Excited to be here today to share some perspective on PG&E's slice of how we enter the space within alternative fuel and our experience, and how we view fitting the technology to the application as we go forward. A little bit about Pacific Gas and Electric and who we are within the utility space. We are gas and electric utility based in San Francisco. We have quite a large territory. The takeaway from this slide is with almost now 22,000 employees and almost upwards of 75,000 square miles of service territory. As Michael alluded to earlier in the beginning, is that we're quite a diverse territory in the sense of lots of different types of terrain and climates, which presents its own unique challenges as we try to deliver safe and reliable energy to our customers. We have over 15 million customers throughout our territory, and you can see some of our generation output with regards to the megawatts through different applications of hydroelectric, fossil, and renewable generating type facilities. We also have some of our nuclear power down in our Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant that produces over 2,000 megawatts of power. Our transmission and distribution, you can see the large number of circuit miles for our electric lines as well as our natural gas pipelines. The theme throughout the slide is big and lots of numbers of customers and accounts that we are responsible for taking care of on a day-to-day basis. Here's a current snapshot of what our fleet looks like right now. With over 14,000, almost cresting upwards of 15,000 at times, here's the current state that we have. And over a third of that, our fleet, is alternatively fuel-based. So we take a great view at how we look at our alternative fuel-based technologies, and really the challenge is finding the right application for the right job. And we have lots of different opportunities to do that based on the diversity of our service territory. We are one of the largest alternative fuel fleets in the utility industry. We are the largest within the utility industry, but within the country, we rank consistently in the top 10 fleets overall. You can see our mix of alternative fuel technology down below, and we'll go into some of these definitions and explanations, but we've got a few numbers there represented as we talk about our EPTO, our electric vehicles on and off road, our hybrid technologies, both HEV and PHEV, plug-in hybrid, as well as our natural gas and biodiesel type solutions. With that being said, approximately 1 million gallons of B20 of biodiesel is consumed each year. Here's a little bit of our technology strategy. There's really 4 kind of tenets and things that we fall back on as we look to proceed and bring new technologies to bear for supporting our businesses. Is that first and foremost, the technology must meet our operating needs of the business. So when we service our gas, our electric side, we really try to keep that in perspective. As a large fleet, we are constantly reminded to ourselves that we're not in the fleet business. We're in the wires and pipes business. We're in the business of making sure that our clients, our customers, are served well by the applications that we provide them with our vehicles to bring that technology to the service territory. And for every technology that we develop on the business model side, safety and our savings are certainly drivers to why we look at potential costs and how that gets applied throughout our fleet. When we look at our portfolio, because of our territory and because of the applications we have to have a very blended technology portfolio because we have a very diverse nature in which we support. So I think it affords us a great opportunity to explore in each of the different classifications of vehicles that we have, how one can best fit a solution for our clients and for our customers. And we also take a very prideful leadership role in remaining actively involved in the development and demonstration application of our idle reduction technology as well as our electric drive technologies. We partner with large OEMs as well as small businesses to really try to drive the newest technologies to market and the applications of our fleet. We're agnostic to whoever that supplier might be, but we try to be sound in our business strategy so that we can bring the best technology to bear. This is a great slide that really kind of paints a nice visual picture for and validates why we gravitate to some of the technologies that we do. On the far left-hand side, you can see the opportunities and the potential of the alternative fuels for each of those opportunities on the left-hand side. Obviously, unique to the utility space, we are interested in fuel savings, much like any fleet, but we're also looking at extending the useful lives and making sure that we are in within the constraints of a California-based utility with the ZEV mandates and the EPAC. All of those play a factor in how we make our decisions for providing this technology. And what you can see is that as you go from the far left side in a petroleum based fuel all the way to the zero emissions electric side of the house, is that you can see the example colors that represent those potential opportunities. And we can see where the large portfolio we have with our plug-in hybrids and maybe why that is for the example chart that it's provided there. So let's talk a little bit about these electric technologies, not to insult anyone's knowledge already about what some of these definitions are, but over the experience here is that these terms interchangeably get confused many times. And so I think it's just good to set a baseline for as we have these discussions around technology about what is a hybrid electric vehicle. And it, very simplistically, it always uses some gas and it uses some battery power. It really is the hybridization of that technology that helps reduce those carbon emissions. When we look at a plug-in hybrid or the PHEV, we're capable of doing the short distances up front on all battery and all electric power. And then at a certain point that drops off and it's backed up by the gasoline or the diesel, biodiesel running engines. There are a couple terms out there as well, the extended range electric vehicles, the EREVs and the REEVs that are interchangeably used in that same category. And then on the far right side of the spectrum for the all-electric, we have the BEV or the battery electric vehicle that only operates on the battery. One of the things unique to the utility sector as well as some of the larger commercial trucks is what Matt had alluded to within Odyne's technology is some of the EPTO. And the advantages of EPTO really are kind of listed down below here. We start talking about being able to go into a work site and power the boom and all the tools and some of the creature comforts of air conditioning for our workers. There's a huge advantage for the EPTO technology that's out there. One I think the most important ones for us and unique to the utility sector is that our linemen and troublemen that go out there every day and are operating in and around large cities and even in neighborhoods, the ability to go in silently and work and replace transformers and intermediate circuits allows a safety factor that is very substantial. Our linemen and troublemen can communicate. Normally they do that with hand-arm signals back in the day with large, loud, idling diesel engines. But now being able to do that in an electric EPTO kind of environment, they can talk just as normal speak as I am talking to you today about some of this technology. It affords a great safety factor when you're dealing with very large amounts of electricity while they're trying to do those repairs for the customer. So why electrification and why the time is now? There's some obvious reasons and some not so obvious reasons, but for every person who decides to join the electrification kind of effort, they do it for different reasons. Whether you are one who believes in national security reasons or for a transfer of wealth or trying to reduce the amount of money that we send, maybe $1 trillion overseas each year to foreign lands that may or may not like our way of life. Either way, there are a lot of reasons that list why we think the time is now. And from a financial standpoint, what we've seen is that the compound annual growth rate for fuel, and when it comes to the volatility, is that the 15-year CAGR is about 7.5%. So I think many of you can say that probably 2 months ago, everyone enjoyed going to the Costco or the local cheapest gas option and enjoyed filling up their gas tanks with $2.50 or less per gallon. But now, as we go to the nearest gas station, it's considerably jumped up in the past couple of months. So that volatility is ever present, and that is certainly an example of why the time is now. Whether you're in California or not, there are lots of states that are putting more constraints and restrictions with respect to the emissions reduction. California certainly has the most aggressive, but whether it's CARB compliance, EPAC, or ZEV mandates, that certainly plays a factor for the decision points of why the time is now. Some of the not so obvious reasons when it comes to extending the vehicle useful life, when it comes to idle reduction, that is a huge driver in eliminating or increasing the wear and tear on a vehicle and a diesel engine. One of the stats that's out there is by eliminating about 5 hours of idling, it leads to about a 69% reduction in engine wear reduction for a diesel engine. Pretty significant. Even just 1 hour of idling time is equivalent to about 33 miles of drive time. So some of those costs are prevalent and significant when you talk about thousands and thousands of vehicles that might be in your fleet. So if it's about the money, I think this chart really represents a great snapshot of that volatility that I spoke to earlier. When you look at the gasoline all the way to electric, gasoline and petroleum-based products are the ones that are up and very volatile. And then all the way down at the bottom is an example of how flat, when it comes to the gasoline gallon equivalents, electric has remained flat for over 13 years. Now this chart is from 2013, so it's a little bit dated, but I think it really represents when it comes to the electrical side and why we're going in the direction that we're going from a PG&E perspective, that this slide speaks volumes with respect to a business reason. So whether it's emission reduction targets on EPAC compliance requirements, or whether you're trying to replace gasoline that reduces those emissions, or whether it's the fuel prices themselves, some of those benefits are illustrated there below on the lower left-hand corner of the slide. And we kind of talked about some of those. The operating costs on the upper right, when it comes to the idle reduction, we kind of talked through some of the metrics when it comes to the idle reduction, and also some of the safety benefits by reducing that noise in and around large cities and urban areas. As far as the useful life goes as well, we've shown about 3 years of additional useful life when it comes to some of these vehicles that are embedded with the alternative fuel technology. And also the leadership role of just getting out there and whether you believe in global warming or not, for every scientist that says that it's true, there's someone who disagrees with that opinion. But in either case, I think many would agree that it's the right thing to do, or want to run the risk of being wrong. One option is to lead the way and do the right thing. So I think that certainly comes into some of our decision-making processes. I'd like to talk for a second about some of the neat technology and the exciting technology when it comes to export power. Recently, we've got a vehicle that we'll bring into market in partnership with some smaller businesses that are out there. We've brought some technology to bear that has the ability to export 120 kilowatts of utility-grade electric power to the grid. That's a pretty exciting proposition when it comes to the utility sector. We have the ability to go in and respond to outages. Outages come in two forms. Very simply stated, it's either planned or it's unplanned. I came home last night and ironically, it was completely dark and black in the cottage that I have in Walnut Creek, and it was ever mindful that when you look at your clock and it's blinking, there's a really good chance that your local utility has been in and around the space, either changing out a transformer or an intermediate circuit. But with this technology, you have the ability to come in and hook up in parallel to a hot line and start exporting 120 kilowatts of utility-grade electric. Be able to take that offline, do the repair while it's hot, and then unhook, and basically there's been no interruption to the service for the customers. That really starts to change and become a game changer within the utility space. So we're excited about that technology to be able to actually use this in not only planned outages, but when you start talking about unplanned outages and emergency response, it has a huge capability. One of the things we get measured in the utility sector is outage time. And there are millions of dollars within the utility space that is pumped into changing one metric, and that is the amount of time that our customers go without electric. So and that's only to change it by maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, very small amounts of time. But if you're able to do that in very quick fashion with export power capability, it's a pretty exciting technology to bring to market. So here's just a couple pictures of our fleet, and I think really the takeaway, without talking about each one individually, is that we cover lots of vehicles, everywhere from little to big to medium size. We're very diverse, and we pretty much represent every class of vehicle, and we are alternatively fuel-based within a lot of those models that we have in a lot of those classes. Here's a couple more. So a lot of people think when it comes to some of these vehicles that have the alternative fuel-based technologies, they think small vehicles like passenger cars. But quite the contrary when it comes to some of the technology that is present today and capable of. So we're excited about it. We'll continue to keep driving within our space to be a leader in partnership with the OEMs and other businesses to really challenge how we think about doing business with alternatively fuel-based vehicles. So with that, I look forward to any questions you guys might have, and there's my contact information as well. So if anything's not addressed, please feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to answer any questions and share our experiences thus far. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Ned. Great presentation, and it's really fantastic to see one of the country's top utilities and the company that, by your own admission, is not in the fleet business, to be leading by example with the variety of hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and other alt-fuel vehicles in your fleet. And to that end, really appreciate you emphasizing that, while light-duty vehicles tend to get a lot of the spotlight, there's a lot going on in the medium and heavy-duty space that has more aggressive implications for the technology. And I, for one, especially enjoyed the slide on price volatility across the various alt fuels, noting that electricity comes in as both the cheapest and most price stable. So at this time, we'll transition to the moderated Q&A portion of the webinar. Thank you to all of our attendees today for submitting some great discussion questions along the way. We'll likely not be able to address all of them, but we will do our best. So to kick things off, and we're going to kind of run through this in as linear of a fashion as I can muster here. We're going to start kind of on the fuel side, and I've got one for each of you and then one for both. So because we ended right there, Ned, I'm going to start with you. Following up on the price volatility slide in your presentation, for utilities, is it easier for you to make the case for EVs because you sell the electricity?
That's a great question. Appreciate asking that. Really one of the things that's, I'll say a misnomer, but we don't make, when you understand how utilities make money, it's really about how we efficiently control and operate on a day-to-day basis. So there is no incentive for us to sell more or less electric. It really becomes a solution for the application for the vehicle as it supports not only our workers, but also for our customers. some of the restrictions that we have also are very unique only within California. So I think that is just one thing to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, I think there's lots of other examples of why the money makes sense for the application. We actually are excited to bring some of this technology because it really makes sense for the applications that we're using on a day-in, day-out basis.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure that was on several people's minds, but somebody shot it down right as you got started. Next one from Matt, and this is will probably require a fairly short answer. Is does Odine do any true electric systems, or is your focus purely on hybrid? And I'll add on hybrid plug-in as well.
Yeah, currently, Michael, we don't offer any full electric propulsion. So parallel hybrid while driving and just full electric work site. So just there's some complexity to power a big truck, of that size, whether it's a 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 pound truck fully electric. So our focus right now is on parallel hybrids while driving and then full electric work site.
Absolutely, great. The next one came in for Ned, but I think it's a question for both of you. Is because it is another form of electric drive, are fuel cell solutions on your radar at all?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in there. For us, with the large territory that we have, one of the things that's already kind of built into the system is, from an infrastructure standpoint, is electricity. The infrastructure constraint really drives the decision point as it applies to CNG and those alternative fuel options. For us, the electric side is a much better fit for us, and I think that is the primary driver.
You want to weigh in on all that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. From the Odine side, we definitely have looked at it. There was recently a DOE solicitation that just came out about fuel cell bucket trucks, but at this point, like Ned said, with the infrastructure issues and the additional cost, we don't currently have any projects with a fuel cell vehicle.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Michael, this is Ned. I'd like to add just one more thing to it as well.
Sure.
And it's just kind of unique to the utility space, but there's certainly other applications for other fleet managers. But when it comes to emergency response, we have to be prepared to go anywhere within our service territory. And so the infrastructure constraint really is a real one when it comes to being in a responsive position to be able to answer those calls within a very, very tight time frame. So if that infrastructure is not there, and the other thing I would add on to that is that, there's a reason why we kind of go with the plug-in hybrid model versus the all-electric model. The last thing you want to do is have a person who wants to come in to fix your electric have only an electric option where the power is out. So it's kind of a unique position, but it all kind of applies, I think, to this question.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate the add-on there. So we're going to move kind of away from fuel specifically and into the operations of the vehicles. And we got into this a little bit, but for a typical return to base fleet operation, how close do EVs need to get to gasoline vehicles in terms of driving range that they can provide? And I guess that speaks to realistically how many miles do they travel a day?
Matt, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, again, if you're talking a passenger vehicle, different applications, work trucks are a lot difficult, like Ned talked about, where the vehicles have to go out, and every day could be a little different, whether they go 10 miles, 20, or 100 miles, and then they can work at a job site for just 1 hour or up to 10 hours in one day. So it's difficult in a big truck with a a duty cycle that varies day to day to even probably think of an EV, duty cycles that are more consistent. If it's a FedEx or UPS route that goes, 20, 30 miles every day, or I know Frito-Lay has had some success with on-set routes delivering to gas stations in New York City, where it's more consistent. I think it's probably where that a full EV technology will come first and have some success. And in work trucks, it's a little more difficult.
And I would also offer up, and I completely agree with you, Matt, is that for us, the sweet spot certainly is 40 miles or less that we drive a day. We drive about 110 to 120 million miles a year with our fleet, which is considerable. So when it comes to some of these decision points of reducing some of our gas consumption, it's a little bit multiplied by a lot when it comes to the number of vehicles and the potential opportunity. But our range is huge. Our service territory is huge, and we have to have the flexibility within our fleet to be able to support going outside of those. But on average, when you divide our fleet, we average 13, 14 miles a day on driving. Some are used a lot less, especially when you have a large metropolitan area. You're not going to put very many miles on those vehicles. But if you're in more diverse territory and spread out, then you're going to tend to have your vehicles drive a lot in those areas. So it's really a portfolio management kind of perspective.
Yeah, and I think that speaks back to kind of what we addressed of for every job there's a appropriate configuration for electric drive to really meet the needs of that duty cycle. One of the things that popped up in both of your presentations was power export at job sites. Did that start out on the OEM side as kind of a no-brainer add-on for the PHEV technology, or was that a request from the utility or fleet side? Let's, I guess, directed at both of you.
From PG&E's perspective is we drive those specifications. There's a reason why we asked for 120 kilowatts of exportable power. That's a considerable amount of export. But when you look at, for our particular service territory, we have about 2 million transformers and intermediate circuits throughout our territory. 1.6 million out of our 2 million are 120 kilowatts or less. That's why we drive the specification for 120 kilowatts. So there's a rhyme and a reason for why we spec it the way we do. As I said earlier, we'll continue to refine that. I think in certain applications, in some of our smaller even pickup trucks, you wouldn't need as much export power capability. But again, back to that conversation of the right application for the right job, I think it's going to be a blended portfolio again for what export power you need. But it certainly is exciting, and we're running with it with respect to trying to refine what that solution looks like.
Yeah, Michael, with the Odyne solution, a little different. Ned touched on more the vehicle to grid to power up transformers and keep electricity on. Our application right now focuses on more vehicle to load. So where applications have a diesel generator on board that can be eliminated and just export power from the battery packs, and that 6,000 watts, 12,000 watts, really depending what they currently have in their fleet and the size of generator, and we can size it to those needs to eliminate the use of the generator altogether and all the fuel savings and maintenance that comes along with the elimination of that generator.
Great, yeah, and that's at EDT we've heard from a lot of I guess different fleet customers around the country, and they really love the power export feature, whether it's for utility backing up the grid or working quietly while you're there, or for construction companies, et cetera. We're running low on time here, so I'm going to jump ahead to kind of the monetary side of things, and start again address the question to both of you for brief responses. How important are grant funds these days to support deployment efforts? Are they necessary, or are they just nice to have?
I'll go ahead and kick off on that one. They're certainly nice to have, but when it comes to where the technology is driving, the grants and the incentives that reduce the cost of going towards that direction of electrifying your fleets, those incentives really are short-term. And when it comes to the business of buying thousands of vehicles on a year-to-year basis, we can't be exposed to the volatility of that just being yanked out from underneath of us. So we believe that the long-term solution is a long-term reduction in the overall cost of what that technology should be and bear to market. So it's the chicken and the egg conversation. The more that we have and produce, the cost will go down. And I think uniquely that the utility sector can be a leader in that marketplace for driving down the cost of what this technology can provide. It's about making the numbers make sense, and they do. They do now for us.
Yeah, Michael, from the Odyne side, the early adopters like the PG&Es, the Florida Power and Light, the Duke Energies around North America, really don't need that incentive, but it does help with the next level where the people are maybe don't want to be kind of the leaders, but it helps to get them off the fence to provide a solution and a really attractive return on investment with those funds. So around the country today, California, Chicago, and New York all offer voucher programs that do help to get those fleets that are right on the fence to make that decision or not, and to put them over to try out those first vehicles and really get the firsthand experience using the vouchers and the government funds.
Great. We're going to go to our final question here, and for purposes of time, I'm going to say 10 words or less, guys, so be on your toes. What is the most critical piece of advice that you can give to someone who's on the fence about getting started with an electric vehicle program in their fleet?
Well, then I can go first here. I guess really, Michael, my advice would just be to pick the correct duty cycle and application. That's probably the main focus to have an early success.
Well said.
Yeah, and you stole my thunder, Matt, but yeah, my words would have been know your duty cycle, know how many miles you drive, know how your business, the needs of your business, and I think one of the big ones for us is know how many hours of idle you do, and that's sometimes hard to track, but certainly an important one.
Absolutely. Great. Well, I apologize if we didn't get to a question that you submitted today, but really appreciate everyone's participation. I want to extend a sincere thanks to our presenters, Matt and Ned, for steering a great conversation today on electric drive technology and performance. Feel free to contact either of them or myself directly for any follow-up questions you may have. Our contact details will be included in the follow-up email you'll receive within the next couple of days. And most of all, thank you to the audience for joining us today. As a reminder, a recording of today's webinar will be available online within the next day or so via the ACT Expo website. So if your colleagues were not able to join in, feel free to share the link to them. We hope to see you at the ACT Expo May 4th through 7th in Dallas. I'm very excited to co-host the show this year in Texas, given that it's one of the largest markets for alt-fuel transportation in North America, and a tremendous amount of activity in that space is underway in the Texas region, along with major advancements in the electric drive technology suite. We're very excited to see them all. The full speaker roster for the ACT Expo has just been announced, and we will soon be announcing additional workshops and educational opportunities very soon, so stay tuned. And as you can see on the screen right now, ACT Expo webinar participants are entitled to a $50 discount code on registration with the code all caps webinar50, webinar50. So if you haven't already registered, go do it now and save 50 bucks. Also, please remember to complete the brief survey that pops up once you exit the webinar window. It really helps us to continue refining this process and offer these fantastic webinars in the run-up to the event, and truly appreciate your feedback. So thank you again. We're right at the top of the hour, and we'll end there. We look forward to seeing you in Dallas.